Hello everyone, I'm Aveline. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So, I've not been talking today, which I feel now. If my voice gives out or however you put that, let's just ignore it and continue, power through. But today we are building two tiny houses, actually technically three. I don't really know exactly. We're building like a collection of tiny houses on one lot. So I started out building it on a 30 by 20, and this is in Evergreen Harbor, by the way, but later on move it to a 40 by 30 in that outdoor retreat, Granite Falls. That's what it's called. Yes. So this started out being actually based on a suggestion from one of you because I did a frenemies tiny houses build like a little while ago, I think. And so someone in the comments asked if I could also do one for friends. And I saw this picture of I don't exactly know what it was because I don't think it was a full-on community, but it was like a little clutter of tiny houses that looked kind of like, whereas the frenemies houses that I did were very like tiny suburban houses. These were a little bit more boxy, a little bit more, I don't actually know what to call it because I don't want to call them contemporary, but they look like renovated trailers, for example, like converted trailers. But they had a very nice, sleek look to them, a little bit of like an eco touch as well, and I thought the whole landscaping around the lot or around the two tiny houses looked very nice. So I decided to take some inspiration from that picture, even though I couldn't really see the shape of the houses, but and they only had two that I could see. So what I did was, this is basically for, there's two houses, right, or there's three, but there's two houses with bedrooms and then bathrooms, and then there's a shared house that has a kitchen and a living room and also a laundry room. So it's kind of like a small community. I don't know if I still want to call it best friends tiny houses. Probably gonna turn into that anyway because I don't really have another word for it. But I feel like at the end it also kind of has like a vacation feel to it actually. So I had some fun with this, kind of just like trying to experiment a little bit with especially the landscaping. It started out being something that just completely evolved into something else. What it looks like by the end is not what the original picture looks like at all. I just had some fun with it. I just, did a couple of things, tried a couple of things, and like how it turned out. There's not a whole lot of grass, like visible grass on this lot at the end, which looks kind of funny in Granite Falls. But then again, you can place this on just about any 40 by 30 that you want to. I think this 40 by 30 is also, I don't actually know why I ended up building it in Granite Falls, to be honest. But you could definitely just place it on any like wide 40 by 30 because this is a long one, or a deep 40 by 30, if you get what I mean. So it's only 30 wide, and that's why in the screenshot that is on the gallery, the house or build the lot because it's more than one house, but the picture will look a little bit funny. But I feel like this means that I still kind of owe you a little bit. I still kind of owe you like a small cute suburban friends tiny houses sort of situation. So we're gonna do that sometime in the future. This turned into a little bit of an experiment. I hope you guys will like it though. I'm not sure how like functional for gameplay it is, but I'm sure you can figure out something to do with it, And also, there's a few like activities and stuff to do around the landscaping as well, because I had a lot of space to utilize as soon as I moved it to a 40 by 30. Sure, there's a lot of landscaping and a lot of foliage, but still, I had some space, some room to play around with. So, you can always just add more as well if you want to. So anyway, also the two houses don't necessarily, like layout wise, they are the same. The way that I've placed down the furniture, they're also the same. There's an overall kind of color scheme to all three houses, so it's very cohesive. But I did end up using different furniture in both of the houses, and on one of them there's an easel, and on the other one I cannot remember what there is, but I think there's like a reading nook maybe or something on the patio. So there's like a little bit of an indicator of what they like. This was supposed to be like a common area where they could also sit and like do a little bit of work now and then if you want to use this as a vacation home, so they can still do like a little bit, because some people do that when they go on vacation. Some people just, that's fair. Some people can't like let it go. And I get that fully, by the way. So fully get that. So I needed to add like a little bit of like a little bit of a workstation as well. So that's here in the shared house too. But yeah, I think this is kind of like the color scheme that we end up going for overall. Lots of like warmer tones of brown and a little bit of white here and there, a little bit of beige here and there. I can't remember if I add any like specific color, right? Maybe a little bit like a peach here too, but like subtle peach, and lots of plants around the houses too, because it has to go with the exterior, which is very, there's a lot of foliage. So I've actually already built another house, so hopefully I'll see if I can get that up tomorrow. Otherwise it will be Friday. But I'm gonna be super busy for the next little while, so we'll see. Not gonna be like tons and tons of uploads, but there also hasn't been for a while. I'm a bit slow building these days. I actually want to tell you guys something very stupid, and I can say it's stupid because it's regarding myself. So I'm calling myself stupid. I'm not offending anybody else, just myself. So I basically have had some back issues for like the past months that I have purposely been ignoring because I'm stupid. And it's not funny. It's just I laugh at these things because I'm stupid. So anyway, I don't like to talk about like health issues with anyone, like parents or friends or anything. I have this thing, and I don't know if this is normal, but if I have pain, I'll basically just ignore it. Like, I know that it's there, but I just don't acknowledge it in some way. I think it's kind of like comes down to, or it comes from the fact that I have a foot injury that basically hurts whenever I have shoes and I walk. So I just kind of like learn to tune it out, which is stupid, but I do. But the thing is now that I have a back injury that when I moved became so much worse than, or I had like a back thing. I didn't know it was like a full-on injury at the time, but I had a back thing that became so much worse when I moved, because we were carrying a lot of stuff from one apartment to another, and like I have a lot of books. So, for example, and just a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff. So, I talked to my mom around that time and mentioned that I had some backache, but I didn't really go into specifics about it. But then I sat down with her last week, I think it was, and actually mentioned it again, because I was like, maybe I should, because now I'm thinking about starting going to the gym and stuff, and I don't want to risk making anything worse. So I talked to her about it. Both her and my parents have been doing high level sports when they were younger, and also my mom on top of that is a doctor, so she knows a little bit about what she's talking about, you know? And I went into first off, I told her, so I have this like needle pain in my back, and she was like, you need to go to the doctor and get an MRI. Like, but she has a friend who's unfortunately gone through some very serious health issues, so I think she jumped to the worst conclusion possible first, and I was like, okay, let's just dial it down a little bit. Listen, these are the other things that I feel is wrong with my back. And she's like, oh, well, you have a herniated disc then. So like a discus prolapse or whatever in my lower spine, because I can feel it running down the nerve in my left leg. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. So I've been walking around with that and sitting down with that for months now, and it really, really hurts. Like, now that I've acknowledged that it hurts, I have to acknowledge it every time I like change my position and stuff, because I need to not sit in a way so that it hurts, or lie in a way so that it hurts. So like I'm fully aware of it all of a sudden, whereas normally I'd just been tuning it out. So these days, I'm taking a lot of work breaks. My point to this is don't ignore, like, listen to your body, okay? And don't sit down for too long during your day either, because even if you're not a, like, super sporty person or you do a lot of, like, elite sports or whatever, you can still end up with this sort of situation from just sitting down. And it hurts a lot. So, yeah. That's my point. Just like listen to your body. Don't be like me. Don't be dumb. It's not good. So hopefully with some exercises and stuff and like being a little bit more careful to not sit down for hours and hours at a time. I also have one of these desks that I can raise up. So I am doing that a lot more. Not just I will be doing that, but I am doing that a lot more than I usually would. But yeah, it's been a thing. So just thought I would share anyway. Like I know it's like a long rant about real life stuff, but thought I would share anyway because just listen to your bodies, guys. Like don't be like me and just ignore it. It's a fancy ability to have to just tune out pain, but like it's also not smart. You know, it's not good. So don't do it unless you just literally do not have another choice. In that case, you are an exception and don't listen to me. But yeah, luckily she did say that the best way to sort of work on it and get it better is actually to exercise. So I'll be starting the gym anyway, which is good. It's not gonna put a stop to those plans. So yeah, that was a whole thing. That's been like my past week, just kind of like trying to figure out like when to stand up and work. I get really dizzy when I stand up and work, like because the camera movements, I'm not used to it. I'm sure that I'll get used to it, but right now I'm not. So I just like I move with the cam when I'm moving it around. You get what I mean? I don't do that when I sit down, but I do that when I stand up and I get really dizzy. So I have to figure that out as well. It's been a whole lot, but also just like acknowledging that you can't lie on your back in bed and read, for example. That sucks because it puts a lot of weight right on your lower back when you do that, and that hurts when you gotta move again. So anyway, that's a whole thing. So that's my life right now. I hope yours is a little bit better than that, but luckily this is just hopefully temporary. So I'm not, it's worse for other people. It's just it'll go away for me. So anyway, but what are we? Oh, right. We have the whole, like, the rest of this video is just going to be landscaping. Like, it took me so long. I think I also cut out a fair amount of the landscaping, actually, just because it got a little bit repetitive with placing down basically the same plants over and over and over in the same way. But you see at the end, you get to see what it looks like for, or when it's like done, you get to see what it looks like. You could also see it in the thumbnail picture, I suppose, and you get to see it from above by the end of the video as well, because I always include floor plan pictures, even though for this one, the floor plans are pretty simple and the houses are pretty small. So it's mainly like a landscaping picture, if you will. A landscaping plan picture? I don't know. But yeah, so for this little bit over here, I think I don't do it right now. I think I actually saved that bit for the end. But I noticed in the picture, so none of this landscaping looks like the original picture, and I wish I still had the original picture, but I built this over the course of like 2 days last week, so I don't have it anymore, and I'm not going through my history because my history's trash and there's a lot going on there. There's a whole lot going on in my history. So no weird stuff. I just want to click. Well, I watch a lot of true crime, I suppose, but no like weird don't get ideas. No weird stuff. It's just there's a lot because I visited a lot of pages. So we're not doing that. But in the original picture, it had like this sort of like a heightened platform situation with not a fire pit on it, which is what I end up placing on this bit right here, this wooden terrace patio area. But it had like a little bit of, it had a tent on it, actually. It had a tent. And I'm not sure how they fastened it to the ground, if they just like used nails or whatever to hammer it into the floorboards, but it had a tent on it, which was like a round one, a round, just round. It was a round tent. I know, very original. But it looked so cute. So I had to come up with something else. I ended up giving them the fire pit, but it's on, I'm sure the wood will be fine. But I feel like in reality, without work, like, I don't know. I feel like I just went from talking about me being stupid to actually being stupid in the voiceover. But I don't know if fire pits can stand, like, it works since. Hopefully the lot will not be set on fire, is what I'm trying to say. I hope everything will be fine. I did not play as the fire pit, but also don't really know how the fire pits work in The Sims. So I hope it's okay over there. But yeah, I like that little area. I just... They have a couple of plant pots over there too, but there's a lot of like clear space as well, so you can add some, like a chess table, for example, if you want to, some more easels, lots of these like areas around this lot that you can just fill up with stuff that you want for like skills, for example. This is where I started doing foliage, started doing landscaping, or I wouldn't say landscaping because I've been doing that already. As you can see, it's all like planned out with areas and stuff, but like that little square is when I tried to place down plants and see what I actually wanted it to look like. So I started out wanting these squares, these lowered platforms, to be filled with plants and then have some grass around so that it looked a little bit more realistic, and then add a lot of these like potted plants around too. But then I think for me the problem was that exactly the line was too harsh. The platform line, or the sunken down, you know what I mean, it was too harsh. So I ended up wanting to cover it up, and then it just looked a little bit weird with the rocks. So I ended up adding plants, and then all of a sudden these plants were like flooding out of this little sunken down area, and it just turned into something completely else. But I like the look of it, so this is kind of what we end up going with. There's still a lot of potted plants, not plotted pants. Plotted pants? What? That sounds like a band name or something. Anyway. I do end up placing a lot of those potted plants around the lot as well, but I ran out of like unique ones at some point, so I had to reuse some of them. But anyway, I like doing this kind of landscaping. Not that you can really see there is a sunken down area at all, like this lowered platform. You can't really see it from afar, but I know that it's there, so like I like it, you know, like I don't know how to, like, I know it's there. I can see it. But if I hadn't shown you from the start, you might not actually be able to spot it. If you didn't know that these sunken down areas were here, made from platforms, you wouldn't necessarily know, right? It's like our little secret. Yeah, unless you download the house and tear down stuff, and then you'll notice, but like, we can pretend that it's our secret, right? Okay. And then I just ended up covering up a lot of the grass as well with some of this gravel, I think it is actually. It's a newer terrain paint, I think. I say newer because it's not new. Like, we didn't get it yesterday, if you get what I mean. But it's one of the newer ones, or at least it's new to me. I didn't open my eyes for this terrain paint until recently, I think. So I've been using it quite a lot, but I like the tone of it. I like the gray tone of it. Some of the other grays in the game end up looking very gray beige, but this one actually looks nicely beige. So this is what happens when I end up getting a notification on my phone while I'm doing the voiceover. I say the wrong thing. I meant nicely gray. Just want to clarify. Nicely gray. It looks very nicely gray. Anyway, I've talked about this before, but I get very, very distracted by phone notifications. My phone is usually upside down when I build, or when I do voiceovers, or just record. Most of the time anyway, but always when I do voiceovers. However, my mom is coming to visit today because I'm cooking for her, and I'm trying to keep an eye out for a message saying that she's either left or that she's not coming because it's raining outside. It's been raining for like 5 days straight. Like, I don't know. How is everything not flooded by this point? I had a guy come by earlier a postman, before you get any ideas. Okay, a postman. A post delivery guy, but he came by with a bicycle. Well, a bicycle. My new bicycle. I'm a bicycle girl now. How cool is that? And I was standing under the roof here at my terrace, and he was just like yelling from afar, like, "Oh, so you don't like the rain?" Because I didn't walk up and meet him. I'm like, no, nope. I'm sorry, but like, no. Sorry that I can't help you. I am not allowed to lift stuff anyways, but I wasn't gonna start that whole thing. Like, start like, listen, I have a back injury, I can't really help you anyway, but like, I just stood there like, and waited. Felt a little bit like, a little bit bad. It was just like, oh, so you don't like the rain? No, not really. Not when it's been going on for 5 days in a row. You know, it's a bit much. We actually got caught in it the other day because we went out for my brother, my dad, and I go for walks quite often, and we went out. I think it was like Monday. It was Monday, and we had what we basically call like a break in the sky in Danish, skybrud. So like a sky break where it just starts to rain like absolutely nuts. Like it just goes hammer, you know, crazy. And we were caught in it and it was great. One of the dogs kept hiding under the trees, which is fully understandable. She was so cute, but also she looked so miserable, which is understandable because there was a lot of rain. So I'm just gonna stay indoors until it goes away again, until the sun comes out to play again. Even though I never thought I'd utter those words because I don't like the sun either, but I don't like the rain either. It's very difficult in this household, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, we are at the end of the video, so I hope you like this build. If you do, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. And as always, the tray files can be found over on my Patreon, which will be linked to in the description box down below, as well as in the pinned comment, where you can also find a link to my booktube channel. So if you like to read a lot and you like to watch videos where people talk about books and recommend books, definitely go check it out. But that is all I got for you guys today, so I hope you all enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!
Oh baby, love me like you did last night. I wanna hold you till the morning comes. Oh baby, love me like you did, love me like you did. Oh baby, kiss me till I see the light, like you did last night, like you did last night. Could it be that I'm lucky to have found someone who is just as crazy as me? Or is it just in my mind? Yet too soon to mention how I've begun to feel that I want your attention. This time it is for real. Oh baby, love me